Hey everyone, Token Dave over here. Dorky talking black guy that's just trying to get by. Okay, I'm doing something new and potentially hazardous, but screw it. I'm just gonna put my 2 cents into here. So I might be doing a couple of segments on these rants regarding the backlash of Star Wars, The Last Jedi and everything. Now, for some reason, this movie is causing a huge divide, and I'm hearing a lot of different sides about this, and people are just going nuts. So I'm just going to do something that's potentially unwise, given that I'm not the biggest debater, or the best debater actually, but I'm just going to rant about basically why I enjoyed Last Jedi, and I'm also going to give my thoughts on, Star Wars lore, canon or non-canon as a whole, Now, it's going to be separated into different segments. I can't sit down and go into detail as much as I like to and everything right now, but, but yeah, if you guys saw my immediate reaction and my lowdown, you know where I come on the side with Last Jedi. I really enjoyed it and everything. And one thing that people are saying, that of the ones that didn't enjoy it, people are saying, well, if you enjoyed it, then you're not a real Star Wars fan or anything. So let me state something for the record. There was a dark period for Star Wars. And that dark period was between 1984 and 1996. And between that time, I actually read quite a few of the novels. I really started reading novels around the age of 11, where I got help from someone because I had a really poor reading level, and I had a tutor that I was fortunate to get in the living facility that I had, and it helped my reading comprehension jump up a couple of grades, from barely reading at a first grade level at being at age 10 to actually going up to being able to read at a 9th grade level at age 12, And around the time I was 12, I read the Han Solo Adventures of Lando Calrissian, I read Jedi Academy, I read Young Jedi Knights, and I read New Jedi Order and everything. So with, Han Solo trilogy, or Han Solo Adventures, they were talking about basically Han's time, like right before New Hope, and basically the Lando Calrissian area. They were talking about around the same thing that caused those 2 periods between like New Hope and Empire to intertwine. In fact, this is where we see Han actually win the Millennium Falcon and lose it and win it back with Han and everything, originally. And then this game happens again, in the New Jedi Academy and everything, Oh no, it wasn't New Jedi Academy. There was a different story. I keep forgetting what it was, but it was when Myra Jade was introduced, and, we find out that she was sent to assassinate Luke. Anyway, oh, and I also read Dark Empire, the comic strip where Dark Horse Comics actually, where it's still after Return of the Jedi, and like Luke is still like, he just defeated Vader, and Empire's on the run, and we find out that Palpatine had a lot of clones and everything, and all those clones got destroyed except for one clone, and then like Luke tries to destroy it, but he actually goes to the dark side for a brief period. But anyway, so just stating my cred over here. So here's the thing, I don't know if people really notice this about Star Wars, but Star Wars really is pretty much a reflection of our time, where in the late 70s and early 80s, it was both about feminism and fighting off basically, oppression, or trying to end a unnecessary conflict where one side wanted like total domination and the other side wanted rebellion and everything. And to top it off, like, trying to right the wrongs of a previous generation and try to restore balance and harmony and everything. That's what the original trilogy did. The prequels was more Prequels was more basically how showing the rise of the empire, but it was actually a microcosm of how major corporations and major governments were kind of like, joining forces together and basically like, blinding people to like, what was really happening. And we are going through process with political treaties, with political maneuvering and everything, and how those repercussions actually caused a huge rebellion. Well, not rebellion, but it caused a huge disconnect and imbalance in our society, And the prequels was basically displayed that to us, what was going on with everything during the during the 2000s with the Iraq War, and like, how everyone was being manipulated, but it was really something that, governments and corporations in league with each other were profiting from it. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't like the prequels. A lot of people didn't like the prequels because there was a lot of political maneuvering, which, I can understand, because the lamest person doesn't really care about the process as much. They just care about what ends up resulting. Here, we're having a bit of an interesting time. We're seeing how basically everything new is, if you really look at it, while the First Order is really dominant in everything, they're kind of really not all there and everything. They're really not well accomplished, or they're not really real accomplished, and they're not really competent. Same thing with the Resistance, if you really look at it. We got two powers that are really not competent, and like they are small microcosm to everybody else in the universe, but yet they hold the most power, and they're kind of meh. Yeah, nobody likes the fact that they're ruling, but there's this war going on. And with Last Jedi, we're seeing a new side of everything. We're seeing how everything has progressed, like everything old is dying out. Now, I am what people call an ex-ennial, because I was born in 1980 and everything, but for a long time people called me a millennial, and I really hate millennials personally. But, how is this going to Last Jedi? That's what some of you guys are asking. Well, for me, Last Jedi represents a bit of a change, and in a good way. People are hovering on basically how, like, Luke is not acting the way Luke did, which I gotta ask, do you guys still act the same way? Do you guys still act the same way 20 or 30 years later than you did, when you were like in your early 20s or in your teens, Sure, there are you do see some elements of old Luke there, but things change. Your perception of life changes. Your view of the world changes as you get older. Sometimes you get more cynical, sometimes you get more cheerful and everything, and that's what happened to Luke in this. We also see that basically, we also see that, the new wave of the Force users, like Kylo Ren and everything, Kylo Ren was born into the privilege about everything, so basically he had it come easier to him, but then he got seduced by Snoke and all. And I'm like, okay, cool. So people are going full, it looks like people are taking it as basically the First Order and everything, or what you would call them. They're the white Caucasians and everything that are trying to hold on to their old power, while the Resistance is supposed to represent the females and the minorities and everything. And I can understand why that could ruffle some feathers and everything. It is a scope of where we're living at right now, especially in the United States. But, all it is it's supposed to reflect how basically what's happening when these two factions, are warring with each other, as opposed to trying to find ways to resolve and cut to the middle. One thing that I liked about the novels, particularly like, post Jedi Academy, because around then, right, you see with basically, well, not post Jedi Academy, it's definitely post Jedi Academy, but between Young Jedi Knights and New Jedi Order, you see that the Empire is still around, but even though they're defeated. but they have their own little space and everything. And basically the Empire comes together with like the Republic and everything to face a newer threat called the wasnt and everything, who are beings from the Outer Rim that are dead to the Force and everything. And, you know, they come together to fight a bigger threat. Here, we're seeing how basically an inbred threat from our homes and everything are fighting together, fighting against each other. And, you know, most of it, some of it might be due to holding on to old ways while trying to resist things progressing. We see this with basically Luke saying that the Jedi have to die, they have to end and everything. And basically everyone feels that basically what's happening is that the Force is actually coming up and, you know, trying to basically make things new and everything, trying to get rid of the old ways and all. And so, I gotta get back to work. I've been here way too long, but I didn't really go into, looks like I didn't go much into detail about Last Jedi itself. I'll probably do that a little bit later when I get home, when I actually have time to like really not rush and everything. But that's just one rant that I have of how I look at things with Star Wars related right now, you know. Am I a fan? Do I like the fact that Disney got a hold of it? Not really and everything. As much as I had issues with the prequels, I still enjoyed them, and I really feel that it should have stayed with George Lucas because he's the creator, but that's just my take. But I really did enjoy Last Jedi, and hopefully in my next video I can go a little bit into more detail of why I liked it. But with this rant, what are your thoughts and everything? Just drop me a comment below and everything. Give me your thoughts on this rant and everything. Like this video or dislike this video if you want. Follow Token Dave on Facebook or Token Dave 80 on Twitter. Subscribe and ring the bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by. And I'll catch you guys later.